Let's go. Of course, my condolences to sort of. His tournament run did end there, but here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing Matcherino Esports. He just took down sort of. It is NightMare. And a big shout out to Oz Protoss in the chat for the 569 nice bits. Thanks for all the great casts this year. Looking forward to watching the Ducklings in 2024. Thank you so much for the bits. We appreciate it. Of course, we're not going anywhere. We'll be here in 2024, just like we were here all the years past, and I'm sure many years in the future as well. I'll do my. It's gonna be hard, but I'll do my best to cast even more in 2024. I think we posted our Twitch stats, and I think in 2023 we casted like 400 and something. Like we covered like over 400 events, which is like over one broadcast a day, so it was great. It was like 418 or something. I'm gonna have to double check, but it was a lot. It was a lot. I'll try to beat that. Do my best. Non-stop casting, Bobby. Non-stop. I mean, I already have other tournament series that I'm. Oh, let's go. I have other tournament series that I'm looking forward to trying to meet up with. To trying to cover. Sorry, I was just double checking. We had 475 broadcasts this year in 365 days. We had over 100 extra casts. Let's go. 475 in 2023. So I'll try to hit 500. I'll try to hit 500 for 2024. I'll do my best. I'll do my best. As SKillous is going for one base all in. We had 2 gate openers to begin with here, so the openers were standard, but SKillous does proxy his second pylon out in the center of the map. NightMare did go for a probe scout. He's aware that the pylon is missing. NightMare, he is on the scout. He's looking on the hunt, looking for that pylon, looking for the proxy. And back at home, how will he respond? Will he take it seriously? There we go. The stalkers are fading out. He is looking desperately. Has two probes on the map. The stalker pushing through the center, but alas, we have still not come across that robo. We still don't see. We still do not know. There it is. It looks like we... Oh, no! we were so close. The probe does double back, but barely does miss the robo. NightMare. Now, thankfully, even though NightMare hasn't scouted the robo and hasn't confirmed the all-in, he's going for his own very safe follow-up. Robo and a gateway. A very safe way to play here. Delays his expansion in favor of a robo, which means he can make his own immortals. And of course, with a third gateway, he can keep up with the production of SKillous as well. So NightMare playing very safely. Even though he hasn't seen the all-in, he's reading it as an all-in. And yeah, his probe scout does confirm it. He does see the lack of natural base. He sees a full wall off as well. Immortal has revealed itself. And it's going to be a NightMare to defend. It's going to be a NightMare to hold. Scouting probe, it does get shut down. NightMare going to be proactive. He dives on top of the army. Focusing down every single one of these stalkers. Going for the immortal as well. It's going to be an expensive trade. Can he get it? He cannot. Very clutch juggling there from SKillous. Does save the immortal. Did trade okay. He lost 2 stalkers for the 3 of NightMare. Bearing in mind that NightMare is on 3 gateways and I believe SKillous is only on 2. So even though NightMare may have lost an extra stalker, SKillous can't really reinforce as hard. He can't reinforce as well as NightMare. Prism going to be moving out and SKillous will come. Oh, he sees it. He sees, he knows. He rotates around and he will deny that Prism. Again, NightMare, he was hoping to sneak out across the map and get a couple of adepts in the mineral line. But SKillous does push him back. At the same time, as NightMare is threading the needle, he's actually making his way through the blockade of stalkers. Does make his way through. At the same time, does have a stalker army on the right hand side. Still trying to find that Robo, and NightMare does slip in. We have a shield battery just now starting, but it's too little too late. The Adepts have made their way to the main. And 2 Adepts one-shot probes. Workers are going to be going down, and SKillous is all in. It barely has an economy to begin with. Now even less so. That's going to be 4, 5, 6, soon to be 7 dead workers. Ay, ay, ay. Can we get a 7th? We can. At the same time, SKillous forcing his way across the map. He has to commit. Shield battery is done. Overcharge is available. It's not going to be an easy push from SKillous. He does have 3 immortals. That's a lot of immortals. Oh my god. Decent force field, but not able to capitalize on it. You see NightMare pushing down. Oh, gets punished. Okay, NightMare, his War Prism is across the map. He cannot juggle his units. We'll be losing a pylon. But he is holding. At the same time, he still has those 2 Adepts alive. They're both deep in the red, but still kicking. We can get maybe one more. Ooh. One more probe. Skills down to 18. Take down a Stalker. We take down a Gateway. NightMare behind this, just continuing Immortal production, going into a Stargate for, I imagine, Void Rays. Still on 2 Gateways. There we go. 3rd Gateway is on the way. SKillous is getting damaged, don't get me wrong, but he's still not pushing up the ramp. It's still not happening. 4th Immortal on the way. The Prism, I do appreciate this coming back home. Like, the War Prism just adds so much utility to your main army, and NightMare does need it. And for moments like this, he just can't push down this ramp. Adepts, they do get caught. Prism has arrived. This means that we can bait out a force field. We can try to. There it is, and we're not getting a Void Ray, we're going for a Phoenix. Okay. I mean, makes sense. So the Phoenixes, they add a lot of, again, they can crowd control, they can CC and lift up those Immortals, they can render them useless, essentially, inert, in the main army. Phoenixes are amassing. Depths, so we're gonna commit to the Shade! Ooh, we do commit, we focus down the Sentries, Force Field is thrown down, the Prism! The Prism does fall for NightMare. The Phoenix not lifting anything, just going straight for the Prism of SKillous instead. Does get a lot of damage done, and NightMare does force his way down to the low ground. The Prism does fall. And we get on top of the Immortals, and SKillous will be losing everything. GG gets called. NightMare holds and takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Again, NightMare taking SKillous's opener very seriously. Even though NightMare didn't scout and didn't know where the Robo was, he was able to confirm that an all-in was coming, and again, he respected it quite a bit, going for his own Gateway, his own Robo, delayed expansion. Not just that, but something that really did slow SKillous down was the Adepts in the main base. We killed, what, 8 probes in total? 8 probes may not sound like a lot, but when you're on 1 base economy, 8 probes can be everything, and that did slow down the push, the production, the reinforcements of SKillous. And with that, GG, we're getting into game number 2. NightMare leading the series 1-0. Again, it was also a really risky maneuver for NightMare to move across the map with that War Prism. Remember, he almost got caught. NightMare almost caught that War Prism in the center of the map, but sorry, SKillous almost caught the War Prism in the center of the map, but again, NightMare, he was able to thread the needle, barely bypass the main army, get into the main base, get into the mineral line. GG. Here we go, we're getting into game 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the red Protoss player representing Team Liquid. Down in this series, looking to fight back, it is SKillous. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing Match Arena Esports from the land of South Korea. It is NightMare. Hold on, I'll post it in the chat. Okay. Also, it was happening during the game, but a big shout out to Shiva Blaster in the chat. Gah, baby, gah. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 25 months, over 2 years of support. Thank you, Shiva Blaster. Thank you. We do appreciate it. Always, always. It's already been over 2 years, and I'm sure gonna be at least another 2. More than that, Bobby. More than that. All the StarCraft. Of course, we're willing to. I mean, 2024 is going to be a big year when it comes to other RTS as well. Whether it's year 0, was it year 0? No. Zero Space, that's it. Zero Space, or Stormgate, or Immortal Gates of Fire, or any other RTS that comes out. Again, going to be a big year for that, and more than willing to try them out, to embrace them, to maybe custom, maybe, we'll see. I remember that when AoE 4 came out, I was like, oh, I'll custom AoE 4, but I never got into it. I never got into covering it. I think I was given like an opportunity once, but I never had the time to play it. Never had the time to really immerse myself in it. Didn't grab me as much as StarCraft. Big cheer nonetheless. As we're getting into our openers, and it's going to be a 2-gate opener at NightMare, 2-gate at SKillous. We have Stalker Sentry, very safe opener from our red Protoss. Meanwhile, we have a very aggressive opener out of NightMare, going for those Adepts. Going to be looking to shade across the map, and hopefully get into a mineral line. Meanwhile, the Sentry-based opener of SKillous is designed to not just defend, but also scout. Hallucinations are just so key here in PvP to get a read on whether your opponent is expanding, whether they're teching, going for a Stargate, Twilight Council, Robo. Hallucinations will reveal everything, or at least they should reveal everything. As NightMare is doubling down, he opened up double Adept, and he's getting 2 more behind this, getting up to 4. He could go up to 6, could even go up to 8 Adepts as well. And once you get enough Adepts, a wall of a shield battery or a pylon is not enough to really stop the Adepts. They can DPS through that, they can power through and break into a main. And there it is. 4. We have another 6. We have another 2. 6 in total. NightMare, he is committing here to the Adepts. Now, the downside is in a head-to-head fight, of course, Stalkers are superior. That is true, but NightMare doesn't really care about a head-to-head fight. Again, he's more concerned with getting economic damage done. Hallucination comes in, does get eyes on the expansion, does get eyes on the lack of tech. So Skills should be feeling relatively safe. Skills does end up catching some of these Adepts here. Going to be focusing one of them down. At the same time, we do collapse on the Stalkers. Trading 1 for 1. A good trade for NightMare. Ooh, and he can maybe get another Stalker as well. Skills, he was caught out. Additional Adepts are on the way. We're covered. So far, so good. Skills, he has been able to wall off for the time being. Behind this, going for a faster Twilight Council, which means Skills will have faster Blink. So tech-wise, Skills will have a lead, will have a power spike when he does have those Blink Stalkers. But we'll see if we can get there. Again, NightMare still sharking around with all these Adepts. Even looking to catch a couple of stray Stalkers. Behind this, NightMare getting into a delayed Twilight Council. And again, this is also just forcing Skills to stay back at home. NightMare could also take this opportunity to take a faster 3rd. Just because Skills is stuck at home. Now NightMare taking up, going for a Robo in the main. Adepts continuing to threaten shades here towards the natural. And it looks like this time we do commit. There is a shield battery. There are plenty of Stalkers in position, and oh, NightMare, I don't really know if this was quite worth it. Got 1 probe so far. Only 1 probe. 1 probe for, what was that, 3 Adepts? You're losing 5 in total. That was not the shade to go for. Up until that moment, NightMare was doing well. He had traded 1-to-1, like 1 Stalker for 1 Adept. But he has lost a lot of firepower, a lot of what was threatening Skillous. Now Skillous is sitting pretty. I mean, these Adepts are still a threat, don't get me wrong. 3 Adepts can still one-shot probes. But Skillous can rest easy. Behind this, NightMare doubling down and getting up to 4 gates. So 4-gate blink with Immortals here from NightMare. Looking to be a 2-base all-in from our blue Protoss. Meanwhile, SKillous, instead of throwing down gateways, he throws down a 3rd base. So SKillous will have the better economy. NightMare is going to have a massive army. And SKillous doesn't know. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned. SKillous, he did scout earlier with the hallucination. He did see all the gateways. So very bold of him to expand. The army of NightMare is looking to push out. So far only getting 1 Stalker. That ups a shade across the map once again. NightMare is expanding. He is taking a 3rd. The Adepts, 1 shades in, but 1 Adept can't really do too much. I'm still waiting for the moment where NightMare does push. We do get a probe. We get 2? No, sure. We get 3? This 1 Adept getting a surprising amount of damage done. 3 probes, not too bad. And here we go. Here comes the War Prism. And with this, we can reinforce. We're going to be pushing. We have 2 Immortals with the army. We have a couple of sentries. The Stalker count is looking pretty similar, pretty even between the 2 players. But once the War Prism does arrive, we can, of course, reinforce. And NightMare, his goal here is to break this 3rd, to break the army. As SKillous has a hefty worker lead. We dive into the shield battery. Shield battery is going to be going down. Boys are being pulled. So far, no overcharge. Shield battery does survive. But the force fields do slice up the army, make it so awkward for SKillous to engage. So far, good blinks, good juggling. The Immortals are getting low. And we dive on top of the Immortals. The first one goes down. We go for the Prism. It barely does survive. This 1 Immortal got some extra hits in. And NightMare, he is cleaning this up, but no, he's going to be forced back. Doesn't have enough, but he killed 15 probes in the process. Almost the entire mineral line, and just like that, NightMare was behind in the economy, now takes a lead. Does take a worker lead. He doesn't have enough to break SKillous, but he traded well. Again, SKillous had to pull the boys and lost all of his workers in the process. NightMare coming and picking up a couple more probes. He can't quite commit to a fight though. It does have to back off. Oof. Oh, as NightMare is going to be bleeding out a couple of Stalkers here in the process. 2 Stalkers go down. At the same time, NightMare slipping in from behind. Trying to pick off reinforcements if possible, but it looks like we have enough to hold. NightMare being punished, losing a Stalker. Meanwhile, our 3rd base is getting up and running for both players. NightMare still has a worker lead that he's been enjoying these past couple of moments. And transitioning into +1 and charge. Meanwhile, tech-wise, SKillous is ahead of him. He already has +1 in charge. Didn't start +2, which is a little bit concerning. We'll see if he does start that up. SKillous going to be pushing on the right-hand side. He is up in upgrades. There is a window where SKillous has +1 and NightMare is on 0-0. SKillous does have the slight Stalker lead. Is that enough to overcome overcharge though? We have another Prism. Oh, the Prism does go down, full of Zealots as well. Big pick off. NightMare shutting down the War Prism, shutting down this push. At the same time, SKillous is getting on top of the 4th base. Trying to force a cancel. We can't take this fight. SKillous beating out a lot of Stalkers, and the Zealot reinforcements back at home will protect the 4th base. NightMare, he is holding. He sees the Zealots, backs the hell off. Does retreat, and again, NightMare still has that worker lead, getting a faster 4th. SKillous, oh sorry, my apologies. SKillous getting the faster 4th instead. Already up, soon to be running. +1 has finished off here for NightMare, and we never started +2. Oh, I think that was a mistake though. I think that's the 2nd chrono that we've seen on this Forge without any upgrades. I think that's an oversight. Ay, ay, ay. Again, SKillous, he had an upgrade advantage, but not anymore. And he's not going to have one. And we're going to be pushing on forward. SKillous trying to break this fourth base, but NightMare just has too much. Forces SKillous back. He's going to try to reinforce, but numbers-wise, it's just in favor of NightMare. We need more reinforcements, but they're not getting here fast enough. So here comes War Prison for NightMare, a couple more zealots as well. And Mortal putting in a lot of DPS. NightMare, he's getting on top of this army. Forcing SKillous back. NightMare still has that worker lead. And NightMare is the one that starts +2. And again, I do think that SKillous, I think he thought that he started +2 earlier, just because we've seen 2 chronos already on that forge. And +2 never did start. Shield battery going to be going down. There is no overcharge. This third base looking so exposed. SKillous has a prism across the map, but he has to focus here back at home, and he has no, or he barely has any zealots. And without zealots, there is no buffer force. The Stalkers, they can't push in. The mineral line's going to be going down, and NightMare, he has broken this third base. Earlier, SKillous, he had his own lead. He had a better worker count, but had a better economy. But GG gets called, and NightMare will take the series 2-0, taking down SKillous. GG. GG, well played. See the chat, he cancelled his +2, so he started, and I guess that cancel was a mistake as well. Again, bit unfortunate there. +2 wouldn't have swung things in his favor. Would have helped, definitely would have helped when it came to a lot of those fights, a lot of those engagements. But the big pivotal moment for NightMare was his push at the third. His initial push when he was on 2 bases, where he had his immortal count, of course. He had a higher stalker count. He was hitting a timing with, I want to say, 4 gates, and he's just 4 gates and his immortals. And he killed 15 probes. 15 workers went down. SKillous was just being a little bit too greedy there, cutting a little bit too many corners, delaying his gateways for too long. He was caught out. So congratulations to NightMare. He advances on to the semifinals. To the semis to face off against his next opponent. Meanwhile, we have one more series to go before we reach the semis. We have another round of 8 match. It is going to be Dark versus Geralt.